All right, I promise you it's not that bad. And the reasoning I'm releasing this after the market is I don't want any of you guys to panic. It's actually not a huge problem, but NIO may have just shot themselves on both feet. All right, let me explain. First, the good. The brand new ET7, over 180 different improvements, and they moved the ET9 seats, all right, and ET9 rear screens directly into the ET7. Of course, that means you spend that money on the R&D for those revolutionary seats, and people can experience them earlier. This is undoubtedly going to help with ET7 sales. ET7 sales are going to be revived 100%. Okay, and this is going to be NIO's, for now, the best vehicle that you can buy from NIO, in my personal opinion. Right? You have the best seats, and you have rear screens. People have been wanting rear screens forever, so this is fantastic. I mean, this is such a good vehicle, and they have so many different improvements. The rear seats can adjust 27 to 37 degrees. Super comfortable with OTA updates to the seats as well. So as good as this car is, NIO may have shot themselves on both feet. Let me explain. The first foot, how did they shoot themselves? Well, the screen is fantastic. All right, it tilts. All right, it's so good. There's connectivity with the NIO phone. With any phone, you can stream content to that screen. You can also control the car, navigation, all that kind of stuff. Very executive feature. But imagine a customer goes into the store and they see these screens and they're like, wow, this is fantastic. Damn, this is so good. I like the screen. All right, I want it. I want the screen. I'm gonna buy a car. I want to buy that SUV over there, the ES8. Yeah, give me that ES8 and give me that screen. The sales reps is going to say, oh, I'm sorry, the ES8, you can't choose the screen on the ES8. It's not there. It's not available. What? Last time I checked, ES8 is more expensive than the ET7. And if my math is correct, 8 is higher than the 7. Why can't I get that screen on the ES8? You see, a lot of NIO owners, ES8 owners, are already complaining about this. So ET7 is executive. The ES8 was also supposed to be executive, right? When you launched that car, it was supposed to be executive to the max. But how come you can't get that screen onto the ES8? What? What's the logic behind this? And the other 7 cars, they're supposed to be on the same level, right? 7, the ES7, the EC7, all right, and the ES8. These cars are all more expensive than the ET7, and yet they're lacking this feature. You see, it's not exactly a huge problem, all right? It's that these screens are fantastic, and the absence of these screens on the more expensive vehicle is seen as a flaw. Why is it not there when your car is more expensive? How come the cheaper iPad gets the latest chip and the more expensive iPad doesn't? What the hell kind of logic is that? What? So, when I saw ES8 owners complain about this and people online, NIO chat groups complain about this, I'm like, I'm also fuming, man. Come on. You're going to copy and paste from the ET9 onto the ET7, but you can't copy and paste the screens onto the other cars? That's really going to create an awkward situation like I presented. People are going to love the screen. It's a screen. It's fantastic. But we can't get it on the ES8. Sorry. ES8 is higher priced than ET7, but you can't get that screen. Sorry. You're stuck with a sedan. Your only choice is to buy a sedan to get those rear screens. You can't buy an SUV. No. We can't let you buy the SUV. You can only buy the sedan. And seeing that SUVs sell more in China than sedans, you have an interesting dilemma right there. Okay? So this is how they shot themselves on the foot right there. That's how the first foot is shot. Some people would want the screen on the SUV. And why not even have it on like the ES6 or the EC6, even though it's, it's supposed to be 6 and not 7, a tier below. Let them pay an arm and a leg to get that screen. Is it so bad for NIO to earn some money? Come on, you're losing so much money. You earn some money, for God's sakes. Let them choose that screen. Let them fork out an arm and a leg, 20,000 RMB, which is like maybe pay 5,000, 6,000 extra US dollars to get that screen. NIO earned some bonus revenue, profit. Is there anything wrong with that, investors? I don't think so. All right. So there's that big problem. The screen's not available on the other cars, and people want this very fantastic screen. So that's the first foot. Bang. All right. Foot number 2. What happened to foot number 2? Now your right foot is crippled. You still got your left foot. What's going on with this? How did you shoot the other foot? Well, you copied and pasted the seats from the ET9 and the screens from the ET9 onto the ET7. Now, the ET9 pre-order guys are going to be like, wait a second. I'm paying 800k RMB starting price for the ET9. ET7 starting price 420k RMB, a little tiny bit over half the price, and it's got the same seats and the same screens. Huh? Of course, if you get the executive version, if you choose those options, it's going to be above 800k for the ET9 and above 420k for the ET7. But, So I'm paying all that extra money for, of course, the drive-by-wire system, for the suspension, which is fantastic, for the extra side lidars, which is fantastic, for all this cool stuff, which is fantastic. 120 kilowatt hour battery pack, fantastic. 900 volt architecture, fantastic. Or I can buy the ET7 with the same seat, same screen, and then also the other money, the leftover money, the difference is enough to buy an extra ET5 or buy 10,000 shares of NIO stock. Let's see. This is going to be a difficult choice, guys. I don't know, man. Maybe I might choose ET7 plus ET5 instead of just the ET9, since they have the same seats. Bang. There's how the second foot got shot. And guys, it's not a huge problem, guys. All right. I made it seem like it's a huge problem. It's not a huge problem. All right. But it is kind of the situation that NIO always puts themselves in this kind of screwed up situation. I hate to criticize management, but this warrants that criticism. You always offer newer features, the better features on the cheaper cars, handicapping the sales of the more premium vehicles, and you just leave them in the dust. And what the hell, right? I mean, you guys spent 700 million a quarter on R&D. Can't you copy and paste the screens onto the other cars? If we're gonna do a 2024 version, how come only the ET7 has rear screens? Give it to the other cars, all right? Let them pay an arm and a leg for it. Yeah, NIO investors want NIO to be raking in the money. Instead of offering exclusivity, offer it to everybody. You know, as much as I don't like Li Auto's cars and their safety, you got to give it to them. At least they're not making the same mistake. The L9 is better than the L8, which is better than the L7. Whereas here, you got the ET7 is better than the ES8. What? That doesn't really make sense, right? And for the longest time ever, before the 2024 version refresh of the ES7, the ES6 was better than the ES7. Oh my God. So NIO always does this kind of thing. I mean, I think they really need to change the product focus. Copy and paste. You spent so much money on R&D. Copy and paste to everything. All right, to all the vehicles. I know they're against sort of like the Russian doll approach, like what Li Auto's doing. The cars look the same. It's just like basically one car, but different sizes and different features inside. But I mean, NIO should do some copy and pasting. Copy and paste the screens to every single car. Copy and paste that seat to at least, the EC7 and the ES7, right? So, this is how they essentially bang, bang, shot themselves on the foot, 2 feet. But of course, yeah, the impact, I think it's just going to force people to buy the ET7. It's going to be very interesting to see how customers choose. But there's actually one good news. The good news is, of course, the ET7 isn't a very widely selling car. It's not a hugely popular car. So most showrooms will not have the ET7. And hence, customers will not be able to see that there are rear screens. But at the stores, new houses that do have the ET7, those showroom ET7s do not have the rear screens. It's the ones where they did not choose the rear screens in order to prevent situation number 1 happening, where people look at that screen and say, oh, I want this screen, but on the ES8. No. So that scenario actually isn't really going to happen unless people have seen the ET7 screen. So in other aspect, they're hiding this feature to not hurt the sales of the other cars. Wow. I know I've been ranting on for a long time. I mean, this is not a huge problem, guys. It's just the decisions that they're making is kind of frustrating sometimes. I understand. The ES6 will continue to sell well. The ET5 will continue to sell well. ET5T will continue to sell well. People will want the screens, but they'll just have to suck it up. Yeah, suck it up. There's nothing you can do. Or buy the sub-brand car. The sub-brand car, we talked about it in the previous video. That has everything you want. So this is going to be interesting. All right. Again, just me ranting. Nothing that warrants you selling the stock. I am still bullish on NIO stock, but I just had to get that off my chest. It's been pretty frustrating, man. As always, stay safe, stay healthy. Peace out.